Yellow. Okay.
What's up,
What up, and welcome to our D&D campaign that we do every Tuesday here on TikTok at 7 o'clock. It's called the Sisters of Stardust, and it has one single player, which is my awesome sister. We also use the sidekick rules. I'm Zach, the Dungeon Master, and I will let her introduce herself.
I'm Deidra. I'm a storm sorcerer, and with the halfling mark of healing.
Boom, boom. All right, so last time, Deidra did a lot, okay? After faking a bunch of deaths, the people that they faked the deaths for figured out that they were fake. So she had basically done this whole crazy plan with Ezra and saved his brothers. And this Ezra guy contacted Amanda through this, or contacted Deidra through this scribe that they both have a insurance plan with. And they basically said, hey, you guys messed up, we got things going on. So then they figured out they were under investigation from the kingdom, and there were inquisitors going to Deidra's hometown of Helena, and they knew that her mom and aunt were alive. So Deidra's first thought is to go to her dad, who is a famous ship captain who also used to be a part of basically the shipping in the kingdom. He was in charge of like the ports, but he is now retired from that job and just full-time, captain. So she went onto his ship and said, hey, what should we do? And he basically said, let's do all we can to clear your name. We can basically go out to sea for a little while and like hide, and we can just check in on everything, or we can stay here. So they ended up going to sea. An inquisitor ship ended up following them, and her dad Vanth stopped and said, hey, you guys can come on the ship. So they came on the ship, and Vanth lied to them, said he knew who Deidra was, but he had just barely met her. He did not know, which is kind of true in a way, but he has had a lot more contact with Deidra because she was growing, she grew a bunch of bodies on his boat. Deidra, so he bluffed his way through that, and the Inquisitor was like, okay, I gotta go. So he ended up leaving and investigating Helena. Deidra was there and actually saw the Inquisitor, and she does have a crystal ball which allows her to scry on people she's seen or knows. So she started scrying on Helena and on this Inquisitor, and basically was like, well, he knows where we are, but I think we're good. Her and her dad did flirt with the idea of calling a storm to sink the ship, because, they're super magical, but that didn't end up happening. What ended up happening was they let them go, and her dad has a mansion in a port city called Queens. So they all went to Queens and started to figure out what they could do, basically try and figure out what they could do. So they decided they were going to go to this town of Goodfield with a body of Ezra's, say Ezra was dead, and put a bunch of fake memories into this body. So they put a bunch of fake memories into this body, meeting a enchantment wizard named Susie. Susie was very accommodating. She loves messing with brain magic. So they started molding these fake memories and putting them into this body. And after molding these fake memories and putting them into this body, we did a lot of different checks, like basically just performance. They were like spitballing. They electrocuted the body, because Deidra loves electrocuting things. And they had Vance deliver the body to the kingdom. In the meantime, they decided they were going to live in Queens. And they had to say goodbye to a couple of people living there. Mainly the Sprites and Arya's parents, who is Deidra's best friend, who is going with her to live in Queens. Her mom and aunt also left there and are now living in Queens as well. And they had the bury on Earth? I don't know. They had a buried giant darkstone, which is basically a portal in their basement that they had to dig up and teleport to Queens. But a couple episodes before, they actually met a witch who lives in a demi-plane within this gem. So they had her just teleport it there. Now that they've moved everything to Queens, Deidra didn't really want to stick out too much, but she did get a job at a cathedral that is actually a cathedral that is basically, it's not to any one god. It's a knowledge cathedral where a bunch of different gods are studied, a bunch of different just knowledge in general is there. So it's basically, for lack of a better term, a giant library. So we ended there. She met her new boss, whose name is Phil, and her job is to light torches at this cathedral every day and night. And she decided she wanted to study there, and she's basically working on getting perception proficiency. So I guess we can start in this cathedral here. I'm going to say you've been living in Queens for maybe 2 weeks now. Let's do 2 weeks. And you're starting to notice things in this cathedral. There are, as you light torches, you know that there are sectors of the cathedral that you're not allowed to go into, and there's like keys to get in there. Some of them are just fenced off. Some of them are just a door. Other places, they're just lightly, like, you could bust the door open and get in there. But you've noticed that there's a lot of different places to get knowledge, a lot of different, I guess, corridors, for lack of a better term. Some better guarded than others. But in your downtime as you study, like I said, you're working on perception. Phil offers to assist you with these things, and he's kind of being, for lack of a better term, a mentor with your mental stuff. You're learning. He's educating you. And he's just kind of been like, yes, this is how we, basically, he's trying to make you look at books in a different way to get this perception skill. Like, he's just trying to teach you, like, kind of some lateral thinking and to notice things that normal people wouldn't pick up in these texts. I will say that your friend living with you, Harold, he does now have a body. That's something I skipped over. He grew his body last time. He was a skeleton wizard, for those of you who haven't seen. He did grow his own body last time. And he has been going to the cathedral as well. But I will say it's to start off this game, it is closing time at the cathedral. You are putting out the torches one by one. And do you have your dice?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say I want you to roll a perception check for me.
10.
10? Okay. Looking around as you're turning these things off, like I said, there's a lot of different corridors, a lot of different things. Slight things have changed, but basically what you're starting to catch on is like the different types of security here. Like, it's obvious that there's different types of security, but they're kind of a facade, if that makes sense. You don't know necessarily why or what they're hiding here, but like there's symbols on the walls that like don't match up with the normal what's the word, search method that libraries use. I'm so bad, I don't know the word for that. But yeah, first thing you see, you're starting to catch on to this perception idea where you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. You basically, you just can tell something's off with these things, and there's just a little more buried there. You're not sure what it is yet, though. But yeah, you're putting out all these torches. There is a corridor on the ground level that is like very guarded. You actually hear wailing on your way out. If you want to look at that, you can. If you don't want to, if you're just going to leave it alone, you can leave.
Do I know where it's coming from?
So, like I said, it's one of those corridors. It's on the bottom level of this cathedral. So basically, you walk in, that's where you start your torches, and you walk up. And there's like 13 levels. But this is on the bottom level, and it's just behind a large wooden door.
I'm gonna go look at it.
Okay. I want you to roll me... How are you going to look at it, actually?
I don't know. I'm just gonna go see if I can creak the door open.
Okay, so you go up to the door, and to your surprise, it is actually already a little bit open, so you can, like, nudge it open and it creaks. It's like... And you hear wailing, and there's actually a stairway that goes down, so there's a basement in the cathedral that you haven't been to, essentially.
Okay, so I'm gonna open the door and walk in.
Okay. There's a long stairway. I'm going to say you follow this stairway. It gets moist the more you walk down. But at a certain point, the noise stops happening, but you do see some, like, light on the wall. And it's still just a hallway that's kind of, like, curving around. This whole cathedral is basically a winding circle, and it's following that same idea on the way down as well.
Okay. Can I roll Arcana to see if it's, like, magical?
The wailing or the light?
The light.
You got it. Roll Arcana.
13, 16.
16. Okay, so you can tell this light is probably just a normal, like, candle light.
Okay. What about the wailing?
The wailing, yeah. Do you want to do an Arcana check for that one as well?
Sure.
Okay.
14.
14. The wailing, let me think if you've heard anything like this before. You have not heard anything like this before. It sounds... You can only assume it's magical. Does that make sense? Like, it's otherworldly. It's not, like, hard to pick up on.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna keep walking down the thing.
So, where you see this light, as you proceed down, you go around, and there is a man standing there. But it's just the back of him. He's kind of, like, looking down the hallway.
This is gonna be terrifying. I already know. There's ghosts in this cathedral. I say hello.
Hello. And you see this man turn and goes like, ah! It's like Deidra! It's,
Is it Phil?
No, it's not Phil. It's, what's his name? Oh, no!
Harold?
It's Harold. He's like, Deidra, what are you doing down here?
I heard some wailing and I had to investigate. I was worried.
He's like, oh, yes. I like it. I like the way you are so eager to seek out... It's a ghost. He's like...
It's a ghost.
he like...
Thanks, Harold.
He's like, He's like, Mr. Phil... He's like, Mr. Phil told me to come check on him every night. And he would leave this door open, and now it seems he has not come up.
Do we need to do something about it?
He's like, well, we just need to go down there and get Phil back up here. He's normally making sure the ghosts can't come up. Otherwise, he'll have to close the library, or the cathedral, rather. And we don't want that.
Are the ghosts not friendly or something?
Oh, yes, they'll apparently eat his soul and drain his life. He suck his life away.
Well, let's go help him. What are we doing here? Let's go help him.
He's like, okay. And he like hobbles downstairs. And if you remember, he's bald and has a brown beard and like wears red robes now. He's like, okay. And he has his candle light. He's walking down. He's like,
how old is you?
He's like, do you want to light the torches as we go down? I've heard that he told me these ghosts don't like light. I don't know if that's torchlight though. So you start lighting the torches like you normally would. I'm assuming you have like just like a little piece of flint that you light it with, or you can use. You can explain how you light it. I don't know.
Well, I don't have any fire spells. I could just like, could I use like shocking grasp and shock it to fire?
Yeah, I like that idea actually. So as you go down this corridor and light these torches with your shocking grasp, sorry, I'm out of breath. What's his name? Harold is making no attempt to be like stealthy at all. He's just like, yes, he told me to come down here, check on him. Let's hope the ghosts let's hope they're friendly ghosts. I don't know why he had me check on him if they were friendly, but so. But
like
you do. You do eventually get to a room that opens up, and you can see that there are like burnt down, not burnt down, but just damaged shelves for books and text. And there's like a wall that's like filled with scrolls, but that's also kind of like crumbling down too. Once you're down here though, give me an investigation check.
Natural 1, so I'm re-rolling.
Oh no.
17.
17. Looking around, like you don't see any sign necessarily. Well, okay, you can tell that Phil has been down here because you can see like footsteps in like the dust with your light, but there's no sign of Phil within this room. There is basically double doors at the end of this room that you can go through that are shut as of now. But yeah, basically this room, it seems like he's been trying to get all of the text down here in like certain spots so he can bring them back upstairs out of this corridor, essentially. So he's got like a wall of scrolls, a wall of books, and then like other texts.
Okay. Can I go like up to the door and like listen?
Yeah, so when you walk up to the door and you listen to it, there is actually there's actually a keyhole on this door, and you can see torchlight coming through the keyhole.
Got an email.
Oh heck yeah!
Do I have thieves' tools?
I don't think you do.
Is the door unlocked?
You can check. When you like wiggle the door, so like the latch opens, but it's locked. Does that make sense? Like you can turn it and feel the latch go, like come loose, but it's not opening.
Okay, so I'm gonna knock on the door.
Okay. You knock on the door. There. How long do you wait? There's no response initially.
Like a minute.
Okay. So you wait there after knocking. Nothing is like stirring. Nobody's talking.
Can I do like an insight check to see if I feel like he's in danger?
Sure.
Because I don't want to barge in on the door if he's not.
Yeah, I got you.
17.
17. Immediately when you came up to the door, you actually felt kind of like a sinking feeling in you. Does that make sense? Like it just feels off.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to... I'm gonna start... I don't know. Can I hit the door with, like, a spell?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna use Booming Blade.
Okay.
Is that a cantrip?
Yeah. Are you just gonna use it on your dagger? Or I guess you probably have a torch too. You could use it with.
Yeah, I can just use it. I have a staff too.
Oh, okay. That works. Boom, boom.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's pretty easy to hit a door, so you can just roll damage to see if you break the door open.
Okay. Where's the damage? Sorry, I'm trying to find it.
You're good. It, things on there can be elusive. Boop, boop.
It's 1d8 thunder damage, so 6 damage.
6 damage, so you hit this door with your booming blade, and the door, like, cracks, and you can see, like, the kind of, like, lightning, or, like, the blue light, like, crackle through it. And the light is not dissipating. So basically, for lack of a better term, this door would be bleeding if it were a creature. But it's not busted open quite yet.
Okay, let's hit it one more time.
You got it? Roll damage.
6 again.
Okay, so you hit it again, and it busts a hole in this, like, middle part of the two, because it's a double door. It busts a hole in, like, this middle part in the front of it. And you could just push it open if you want to now.
Okay.
So, and when you push this open, there are 3 corridors within this room. So this is, like, kind of just like a joint, I want to say, transition area. You know? So there's a double door on your right, a double door on your left, and a double door in front of you. They're all open, with the exception of one right in front of you.
Okay. Can I roll perception to see if I know where this is, like, any of the noise is coming from?
Yeah, sure.
Or where I think Phil is?
Yeah.
12.
12. Let me see how I think. Yeah, so it's hard to say. There are stacks. You remember the stacks of, like, different texts? It's hard to say which one he was working on right now. But you can correlate to each of these rooms, like, work with that. So the room that's open on the left is basically filled with scrolls, or was filled with scrolls. It was like the scroll room. The room that's locked had, like, the special books in it, and the other room that's open is, like, normal books.
Okay, let's check the scrolls room first.
Okay. So as you go into the scrolls room, instead of there being, like, bookshelves, there's, like, individual squares in each of the walls for scrolls to be put in, with a bunch of there are, like, some scroll cases on the floor, and, like, some dusted scrolls everywhere, because there is, like, a lot of old damaged texts in here, for lack of a better term. And basically, when you're looking around, you can tell he's pretty much cleared out this room. There are some, like, scroll holders in there, but he's pretty much cleared it out.
Okay.
What's your passive perception for me?
10.
10? Let me check this. Sorry, I'm not trying to take my time here. But
if you want to look at his YouTube, it's just Zach Munford. That's what the name is for the YouTube channel.
I have it on my Instagram button on my profile too, and my link tree. So yes. Boom boom. But we're on this is our 13th episode. The episode we did last time has not published yet. It's like they're looking at it.
It's under review.
It's not under review, but they always take a little bit of time to like make sure, I don't know, they look at it.
Well, that's stupid.
I know, but it will be up eventually.
Okay.
Where was I? Oh, passive perception. Boom, boom.
If you'd like, you can start there. I mean, you'll get a spoiler alert for right now.
But yeah. Yeah, you don't know. You're in here. It just, lots of damage text. It seems like he's cleared out most of the scrolls.
Okay. I'm going to go check the special books room now. I'm going to see if I can open that door. Just
okay.
wiggle the door.
So that door is locked as well.
I'm going to knock on that door as well.
Okay, you can knock on it. When you knock, what happens here? Ooh. So when you knock, you hear a howling. I want you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Again.
17? Okay, so you pass this. Basically, this is terrifying. You would have been, this was a check to see if you were frightened and would just run away.
Okay.
But it's just a terrifying noise coming from the other side. So this kind of answers the question of where the noise is coming from.
Okay. I'm gonna try to break open the door again, I guess.
Okay. Booming blade?
Yeah.
Okay, roll the damage.
8.
8, okay. The door starts to crackle again. As the door starts to crackle like that, you see a black shadow pass through the door.
Oh no!
I'm going to have us roll initiative. Because you were both aware of each other.
Okay. I got a 17.
Wow!
How many times am I going to roll 17?
I don't know.
I'm not bad.
Metal dice are tripping me out.
Over and over again. Huh?
Your metal dice, dude.
So that's 19 with my plus initiative.
Okay. For Harold, I rolled a 19 naturally. Okay.
I got a 19, so I think I'm going first.
So Harold rolled a 19 as well, and he has a +1 to his dexterity, so he got a 20. So Harold would technically go first.
I have a +2 to my dexterity.
Oh, so you're 21?
Well...
So I rolled a 19, and he had a +2.
Oh, I rolled a 17 +2, so I rolled a 19.
Okay.
Let me pull up the spell that I want to use.
Okay. Sorry, the stat block doesn't want to work for me, so I gotta find another one real quick. I'm being choppy today.
I don't get to use Harold, huh? Because he's not one of my sidekicks, technically.
Yeah, I haven't really made, like, a set stat block for him. Like, I know what his stat block is, it's just... It's not like... What's the word? It's not like the other stat blocks where I've made them and they level with you. Does that make sense? He has like a set stat block. Either you can just go first, Amanda. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
Gosh.
I'm gonna use lightning bolt.
Okay.
And they need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Boom. Okay. 19.
I think that passes.
Does it only do half damage? It does half damage though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
6. 7, 28, 29, 30, 31. 36 damage.
36.
So half of that is
15, 16, 17, 18. 18 damage.
18 damage.
Yep. Boom. Okay. So, Deidra, Harold. Boom. 18. Okay, you strike true with your lightning. Boom, boom.
It was getting too dark in here.
I got you.
I'm gonna use Quicken Spell and do it again.
Okay. Okay, remember you can only do a cantrip with the Quicken Spell on top of it.
Well, I can do a regular spell. It just costs 2 points instead of 1.
I know, but you already cast this spell, and it's a concentration spell. So basically, you can either hold this spell, not use the spell slot, or like you can use a spell slot and do it again. But
it doesn't say concentration.
For lightning?
One action.
Oh, I'm thinking a witch bolt. Silly me.
Like, this doesn't say
Sorry.
concentration. So make another dexterity saving throw.
Boom, boom. Eight.
That fails.
Okay. Roll the damage.
6, 6, 2, 4, 7, 42 damage.
42. Gee.
That was a good one. I rolled 3 6s on that one.
42 plus 18.
That's 60.
That is 60. Boom, boom. Sorry. I was still looking for Herald stuff and I got it. But, this thing, it looks in bad shape. It's struggling to keep its form. Harold is going to do something. Oh gosh, I dropped my D20. I don't want to find it right now. I'm using a new one. Boop, boop. It's taking me a long time. There we go. Harold. Okay, you see Harold put his hand up, and he shoots some blue-white, like, light out of his hand. What do I need to do? So yeah, he shoots some blue light out of his hand, and so Okay. He shoots some blue light out of his hand, and it hits this creature, and the creature dissipates. And it's flurries of snow. It was an ice ray. He's like,
It died?
Yeah, the ghost thing fell apart, basically.
Okay.
He's like, good work, Deidra. He's like, do you want to continue to break the door?
Sure. I'm gonna roll damage.
You got it.
6.
6. You do 6 damage on this door, and it busts it open.
Okay.
This room is actually really nice compared to the other rooms. There's it has marble flooring. The other doors are more the other rooms are more just normal cobblestone. And wood parts of the structure, but this one has marble looking stuff. It's really nice. And a lot of different pedestals. The pedestals aren't in super good condition, but they are still nicer than what's everywhere else. But looking around, you do see a Phil laying on the ground with some vestments.
Is what on the ground with some vestments?
So Phil is laying on the ground, so remember, he wears different kinds of vestments every day, just based on different types of gods, because he fancies himself a scholar of all the gods rather than just the one, or just one. So this time he's in some blue vestments with some gold trim, but he's just on the ground, passed out here.
I'm gonna use Cure Wounds on him.
Okay. So you use Cure Wounds on him, and he does take a deeper breath, but he is still unconscious right now.
Okay, I'm gonna roll a d8 to see how many HP he has up.
Okay.
I got 8, so.
So he gets 8 HP, or is it 8 plus your spell? Whatever.
Plus 5.
Okay. Yeah, you feel like he's in a healthy condition.
Okay.
Right now.
So we're gonna me and Harold are gonna pick him up.
Okay. So when you pick him up, you realize he's laying on an open book. And the book actually has sigils that are glowing on it.
Glowing. Okay. Can I roll history to see if I recognize any of this?
Sure.
20.
20? Okay, so
not natural, but 20.
Looking at this, you actually have seen these types of marks before, and your mom is actually really good at them. Some of it looks like parts of the spell she uses to go into the ethereal plane when she uses her etherealness spell.
Okay.
So what you can gather from just looking at basically the text and what this is this book is about the ethereal plane, and the fact that it's glowing right now in front of this dude whose body is limp, he could be in the ethereal plane.
Okay. So we're gonna take the book with us.
Okay.
And go out. And I'm gonna... is there any way that I can try to rebuild this door?
The one that you broke?
While we're down here? What?
The one that's down there? So, also, on his body, he has a key to the library, or to the cathedral, and there was that first original door you came out of. And it still has a latch on it. But you want to build up the door to this marble room?
I want to try to.
Yeah, so the door's pretty shattered.
Busted?
In the middle part, but you can set up the I will say both of them are still on their hinges. I'm just saying you broke them. I imagined you broke the middle where the latch would be.
Yeah. Okay. Then we'll just go up and lock that door.
Okay. If you have a couple minutes, Harold does have a mending spell, which can basically just fix things.
Okay.
It fixes like a foot
let's try that.
area. He's like, yes, I'll fix this real quick. So he does.
Just that door.
He mends like where the latch was in the middle of the door. And the door seems to be functional after that minute.
Okay, so we lock that.
Okay. You lock it. Did you bring the book with you?
Yes.
Okay. You got it.
Said that.
I'm sorry, I forgot. I was just double checking.
Yes, we brought the book.
Okay. So you fix this door.
Okay. We're gonna go up and lock the other door too.
Okay, so you go up the hallway.
And does Phil have like an office in this place?
Yeah, he has like he has an office. He has his own house outside of the place, but he does have like an office area.
Okay.
And it is on the ground
maybe
floor.
we should. Let's go to the office since the cathedral is closed and it won't raise any suspicion that we're carrying around an unconscious body.
Yeah, I got you. Boom, boom. Okay, you open the door to the office, and it looks like a typical office. There's like 2 chairs in front of his, like on the opposite side of his desk, and then there's the 1 chair like where he would be sitting.
Yeah.
The only thing that would be different is there's probably bigger. It looks like it's part of the library in some way.
Okay. So I am gonna go get my mom.
Okay, and she is in the mansion in that little quarter there, and she has her own little chair in her like study area. Are you just gonna get her and bring her to the cathedral?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's gonna say, "Hey, I need your help. Can you come with me?"
She's like, What is it?
She's gonna say, "I need some help with like the ethereal plane."
She's like, oh boy. And she like right when you say that, she immediately gets up and starts to go with you. She's like, of course you need help with the ethereal plane out of nowhere.
Okay. So we bring her there, and I show her the body in the book, and I'm like, how do we get him out of there? Can you go in and get him out?
So she looks at the book, and she puts together what's happening pretty quickly. She's like, so his spirit is roaming the ethereal plane somewhere. Luckily, if we go into the ethereal plane, there should be a cord attached to his body that we can follow to find his spirit and put it back.
Okay.
Let me look at how the spell works, because it's a complicated spell. She basically says, I don't know what this book is going to do, so I want to look. She's basically like, I want to be here to like make sure this book just doesn't turn off and sever his cord, because if his cord gets severed, he's pretty much stuck in the ethereal plane. She's like, so I can send you in to go find him.
Ooh.
Follow his cord, bring him back here, and I'm just gonna make sure this spell does not turn off for him. She seems genuinely worried about it.
Okay.
And Harold's like, yes, that's a good idea. He's just kind of like,
Okay.
But she's going to cast. Let me see if she can cast this on you, or if it's a self spell. It's definitely a self spell. But I can change things because I'm a dungeon master. She casts the spell on you. Actually, I think there's a 9th level version of this spell.
I can change things because I'm the dungeon master.
Yeah. Well, there's a 9th. There is a version of the spell that she does know that she can cast on you. I just can't find it right now, so I'm going to use the lower version for my thing. But basically, she severs this kind of border between the ethereal plane and you. Whoa. up and stuff.
My setup fell over.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay, so she basically severs like a border between the ethereal plane and you. So to be clear, your spirit's not coming out of you, but you're walking into the ethereal plane like as a physical being. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And once you're in here, you can move in any direction. So you can like float straight up, do whatever you want. But if you move up or down, it does take like more energy. Okay, so basically you're in the ethereal plane. You still have your physical body, but you can do ghost things. You can float. You can do other things. You can see through walls right now.
Cool.
And once you get there, you can see basically a cord floating the direction you came from.
Okay, so I'm going to follow the cord.
All right, so it goes all the way down. Basically, it follows the same path you brought him up through, so you can assume that it was like, what am I saying? It basically followed the path that you took the body from the room. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then, but you follow it all the way down to that marble room. You can walk through the door, so you don't necessarily need a key. Once you get into this final room, or the room where the book and the body was, you actually can see multiple people walking around in this room that are normal ghosties, not scary ones.
Friendly ghosties.
Yeah. But there's a whole coil of all of these cords in the corner of this room that all of these people are attached to.
There's a cord in the middle of the room that all of them
So
are
it's in the
attached to?
corner of the room, and there are 4 ghosts in this room whose cords are all coiled in here, including the one you just followed.
Okay. Great. Do I see Phil anywhere?
Make investigation for me.
I rolled a natural 1, so I'm re-rolling.
You got it.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay, you immediately see Phil. And for some, normally everybody's body is like that ethereal, like kind of like see-through, like grayish blue, you know?
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, Phil's like clothes that he had on have their color in the ethereal plane. We don't know why, but they do.
So I spot him right away.
But you see Phil.
That's Phil. Okay. Yo, natty 20.
Are you gonna talk to him, or what are we doing?
I'm gonna try to talk to him. I'm gonna say, "Hey, Phil."
He's there. He's like, ah. He's all, Deidra? He's like,
Do you
what
need
are you
help
doing
out of
down here? Wait, what?
I found your unconscious body.
He's like,
and I was a little worried.
He's like, oh, I would have hoped that Harold would have found it, but okay. I'm glad you found it. You're not supposed to be down here.
I heard some concerning noises, and
Yeah,
I am not one to walk away from danger.
He's like, you're not supposed to walk towards the scary noises. What if you ended up like me? He's like, now, what? How did you get here? Oh my God, did you read the book?
No, I did not read the book.
He's like, okay. He's like, well, how do we get out of here?
Well, we need to follow your cord back to where we went.
He's like,
I think.
follow my cord?
Just follow me.
He's like, okay.
So we start walking back.
Okay. So he's following you, and he does see the cord after a while, but he like originally saw it in that coil in that room.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, okay. This makes sense. And he's like walking with you. And you notice as his as you guys are like getting back to the office room, as you get closer, within like 60 feet of the room, his cord like doesn't disappear, but like, how do I say this right? You can tell he can't see it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, wait, where are we going now? Like, he understood that you were following the cord, and now he can't see it.
Just follow me. Let's go.
He's like, okay.
And we start running.
Okay, so you're in the office. You're right in front of his body and stuff, and you can see your mom and Harold in there.
Okay.
But like I said, you get the sense that he couldn't see his cord, and now that you're in the room, you get the sense that he can't even see his body. So he's just like looking around, like, what are we doing?
She didn't tell me what to do when I got him. Did she?
No, she just told you to go find him.
Well, I got him. Now what?
Roll an Arcana for me.
17, 20.
20? So
I rolled so many 17s tonight, it's not even funny.
You would know that basically you just need to get him in his body and then stop that spell. You just didn't want that spell to stop while he was outside of his body. So
okay.
You need to position him the best you can into his body and then stop the spell.
Okay. So I start positioning.
What was your passive perception again?
10.
10. Okay, you don't notice anything.
Okay.
But you put his soul, you lay his soul down onto his body, and he's like, okay. And I'm assuming you're explaining what you're doing to, like, we need you here because this is where your body is at, but for some reason you can't see it. I'm going to turn off the spell, and you should wake up. You can change that if you want, how you said that, but I'm assuming that's what's going.
No, that's fine.
Okay. And then I'm going to say you can blink back into existence. Like, you can just say, you can just be done with the ethereal spell that was on you, that your mom did.
Okay.
And you are back in existence, and your mom and Harold are there with the book open.
Nice. I say, I think that his spirit is back with his body.
Your mom's like, you think?
I'm pretty sure. I laid it on there the best that I could.
She's like, oh, so he's, like, actually in his body.
Yeah.
Okay. She's like, well, we're going to turn off this spell. And you see her, like, flick her hand across this page, and, like, some of the words just, like, the light, it's basically when she puts her hand over it, like, the lights turn off on it. And she basically on-off switches it. And the spell turns off, and this guy goes, oh. You see Phil wake up. He's like, oh, thank goodness. Has Phil met your mom yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, he's like, oh, Harold? Deidra?
Woman?
She's all,
Woman?
and she introduced herself. She's all, oh goodness, what is her name? Oh no, it'll come to me. It's right here. Why don't I know? Rhea. Or is that your aunt? Rhea. It is Rhea.
I don't know.
It's Rhea. Your mom's name is Rhea, and your aunt's name is... I'm forgetting. It's fine. But she's like, Rhea, it's a pleasure to meet you, Phil. And he's like, pleasure to meet you. I'm glad you guys were able to get me out of there. Okay, I'm sounding not like him. I'm glad you guys were able to get me out of there. Yes. Thank you. Should you need anything, I will give it to you. And you see like some clenching in his neck, and he like fidgets a little bit, and his eyes like roll back for a second, and he comes back, and his eyes roll back forward, and he's like, ugh.
What was that?
And then he turns and he like looks. He's like, can we get cake? And he has a female voice now.
So I look at my mom and I say, what happened?
And her mom's like, who are you? And the person's there is like, what do I want this name to be? She's like, I guess he's like, I'm Felony. And your mom's like, Felony?
How did you get in this body?
She's like, well, I saw you guys walking, and I was like, I'll come with you, and then you like said, hey, lay down in your body. And I was like, okay, I'll lay in my body. You get the sense that once she got close to the book too, she couldn't see like any of the other spirits too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
She's like, I was just following your instructions. What's up?
Are both of them in his body?
Yeah, she's like in his body too.
I think they can share a body.
She's like, but
like multiple personalities.
She's like, she just is basically asking for pastries. And then every once in a while, her eyes will roll back and her neck like clenches. And then he comes out and he's all, ugh. He's like, anyway, if you need anything from me. But you get the sense that they're like not really realizing that they're sharing.
Yeah.
But yes, they are in the same body right now.
I'm kind of okay with that. Is that bad?
Hey, it's whatever you want it to be. It is quite terrifying when his eyes roll back and like his neck clenches. But if you can deal with that, that's fine. What's up?
I said, I feel like we can get used to that.
Harold's there, and he's basically like, we could make another body.
Okay. And they can share a body for 4 months?
He's like, what else can we do?
Whose body are we going to put him in? Can you grow a square inch of
He's like, well, we just need like a
girl?
female body. Let's ask her how she looked. And we'll do the best we can.
Okay.
So, after Phil's sitting there like, what a night. I gotta put everything back. And he like transitions into Felony. Phil and Felony. Great. I used to. That's gonna work. Okay.
Okay.
Why is the hardest part of dungeon mastering doing names? I don't understand. All the math, all the mechanics, everything, fine. Names, nope. Okay. So Felony starts to explain.
Felony. How old are you?
Felony's like, oh, I'm 26.
26? Why do you want so many pastries?
Why do I like pastries? She's like, who doesn't like pastries?
What race are you?
She's like, oh, I'm a human.
A human?
Mm-hmm. Phil is a human as well. If you remember. But yeah.
I don't. But...
Phil's a human and Harold is like an elf.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, Felony's basically like, yeah, I'm a human. If you ask her to like describe her appearance, she says that she had dark hair, and she was thick and stacked. No, I'm just kidding. That was a terrible joke. But but yeah, she gives you like a pretty accurate description of her body. But
she was thick and stacked.
She's thick and stacked, bro. No. Another thing, she kind of just rambles and talks about pastries and stuff, but then she starts to talk about how because she was aware that she was a ghost. She's like, the only thing that she could see were the shadows, and she just had to run from them. And you can only assume it was the ghost, one of the ghost things you fought.
Yeah. And
so she kind of explains how those shadow things basically were turning. She just knew she would have gotten either eaten by it or turned into one of them. And that's just a hunch. She wasn't necessarily sure what would happen, but that was what she thought would happen.
Okay.
But yeah, she is sharing Phil's body for now. You can, if you want to go out and find someone who looks like her, you can, to ask for a thing of skin, or because I'm assuming you don't want to turn her into a halfling. But yeah. I don't know why we have so much body swapping going on in this campaign, but we do.
I know. Can Harold make a piece of skin for her?
He's like, the original piece of skin I made was made from my own bones, so that took me months to do, and we don't have a body for her. Maybe if she knew where her body was, we could make a new one, but I'm assuming she doesn't know. All things considered. And if you ask her, let me see if she would know. 19. She knows. She's like, she says, the last place that I had my actual body was in the basement of the cathedral, and I was in the not the scroll section, not the artisan book section, but the normal book section. And and I was researching ocean tides and deep sea gods at the time. That was the last place I saw my body. That was the last time I was in my body. But yeah, then I appeared somewhere else.
Maybe we should check that.
Boom. You can check downstairs?
Yeah.
So when you go down there and you take like the right path where the normal books would be, go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
$16.
16. You're rolling good. The save was 15, by the way, to find it. So you do see that there is a section, and like I said at the beginning of this, you were like trying to put together kind of like this coding that was around, and now you're starting to realize there are certain holy symbols on each of these like bookcases, and you understand what this holy symbol is because you've been like around ship people for a while. And yeah, basically it's just like a it's a swirling symbol that looks kind of like it could be described as a whirlpool, but it could just be a zigzaggy circle, you know. But this is basically a representation of a water god that is actually like a storm god that like reaps destruction on people. But you recognize it. You're like, oh, that's what I would have seen before with my perception check. No. When I started. But you put it together, you're like, okay, each of these sections is marked by the god that the text is about. So you know that this one is a sea god. You go and you look in this section. You don't necessarily see a body right away, but looking like very close to the what's it called? The bottom of the shelf, there is a single bone on the ground.
Okay.
So you have found a single bone.
I don't know if it's hers or not.
It's hard to say. Did you bring Harold with you down here?
Yeah.
If you're gonna say that he's like very adventurous, I would say he's like, well, there's only one way to find out.
That's what I was thinking.
He's like, should we go get a jewel?
Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm gonna say this was closing time or whatever. So we could, if you want to go buy a new jewel, you would have to wait for the next day. But there is a jewelry salesman named Jake that you could go to.
Okay.
So you go there. He has he does have a lot more jewels than the other place did. So you can definitely get one there for the spell. And he basically takes the jewel. Harold starts doing his alchemical stuff to grow a piece of skin from the bone. From whatever's in the bone, basically the DNA, for lack of a better term. And after a couple of days, he does get a cubic inch of skin, and he does the hour concoction in this bowl to make the clone. And this it's got that weird cyst on the top, and you know that after 4 months, something's gonna grow out of there.
Somebody. We don't know what body, but somebody.
Yeah, something's gonna grow out of there. Funny thing about the clone spell, if the host of the other body dies, the spirit of will go straight into the
body.
Straight back to the body. So since she's stuck in the ethereal, if she ends up getting stuck in the ethereal plane, she'll just go straight to her body. If this is something else or someone else, they might just shoot straight into the body. Who knows? But yes, that is growing now. Is there we can do a time jump if you'd like. Is there stuff you want to work on in this time, or stuff you want to look for? I know you mentioned that you go fishing every morning on the dock last time. So, Wait, what's up?
I just was saying, yeah.
Yeah. So we can roll to see how your fishing stuff goes, see if you get anything special in that regard. Just any little things. What's up?
I want to study the Fae.
The what? Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
The Fae?
Just Fae in general?
Yeah, like the religions.
Oh, okay. Boom, boom. Got you. So there is a section made for the Feywild. Let me look up some stuff. Because yeah.
I just want to take up time.
You got it. Archfey. So you do find a couple of books on Archfey. You learn about a race called Eladrin, which are basically like the OG elves. Things like that. Who eventually can become Archfey. So that these are basically like demigods that are elves, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Me. Just kidding.
So, There are a couple ones you hear about. One of them is Baba Yaga, the mother of all witches. Hyrsam, the Prince of Fools.
What was the name?
Hyrsam, Hyrsam. I don't know how to say that correctly.
Fearsome?
Hyrsam, the Prince of Fools. I'll just spell them out for you, too, so you can like write it down. The next one is Niphion, Neifion, the Lord of Bats. The next one is Ninitar, Sayota. First one is the first part of the name is Nintra. Last name Siotta. And this one is the Princess of the of Shadow Glass.
Shadow Glass?
Shadow Glass.
Okay.
Next one is Odeorn. Oderon. The Green Lord. The next one doesn't have like an official name, it's just a title. The Prince of the Forest. The next one is also just a title. Queen of Air and Darkness. Next one is Tatiana. Titania. The Queen of the Summer Court. The next one is Verestana. Verenestra. Did you get that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And that her title is the Oak Princess. The last one is Kanoth, which is Cannoth. And his title is Vampire Lord of Sindenia. Cendriane is the name of the place that he's the lord of.
Okay.
Boom, boom. So yes, you those are all the notable archfey that you come across in your studies in this time. I will say, I want you to make an insight check as well.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm. Three?
Yeah, 3.
Altogether, okay. Yeah, whatever. All those names are notable. So yeah, notable archfey. Boom, boom. I will get more into that later. Also, I'm going to say, I want to ask, do you think that the other girls went and got jobs as well?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Do you have any ideas what they would be doing? Like, I have my ideas, but if you have them, I want your input first.
I feel like Arya would be working at like an inn or something.
Arya's definitely at an inn, so there is an inn like right by the waterfront where it's kind of what I would say it's like by where you can fish. It's just outside of the wall by the port, so a lot of port a lot of people who probably travel from port to port come and stay there. Let's see how she's liking it. So yeah, she's doing pretty well there. It's obviously it's a bigger inn because it like fits all sizes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But she seems to be making it work, and she's obviously very good at what she does in the eyes of the innkeeper there. What is the innkeeper's name? Let me look at this. I don't know how I have this thing statted out, but I do. Yes, the guy who owns this inn's name is... Sorry. Basker. And on the sign to get into this place, there is basically like a leaf ornament on the doors, and that's kind of like their thing.
Okay.
But yes, she's been Arya's been like doing good there. I'm going to say that if Tulane ended up getting a job, that she probably wants to work at the what's that place called? Sorry, I'm looking through a lot of stuff right now. Oh, so she started working with this lady named Yaya. The lady Yaya is a divination wizard. So basically, she's a fortune teller.
Like in Spirited Away?
What's up?
Like in Spirited Away?
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time, so I don't really know the references, if I'm being honest.
It's Yaya.
Really? Well, yeah, she's working for this lady named Yaya, who is a, what's it called? A fortune teller. One thing about Yaya is she lives in a tent, and the tent is like literally really close to the only thing by the cathedral would be Phil's house and this tent. But it's like a circus tent, so it's like livable on the inside, if that makes sense. It's not just a crappy tent. It looks nice in there. But yes, she does. Tulane is now working with this Yaya lady who does like fortunes. I will say that Jeanette kind of just sticks at home. If she goes out, she goes out disguised, and she's pretty paranoid. She's more cautious than everyone else. But we will say that we're going to do a time jump here. You guys are working and doing your things. You're getting to know people a lot better, and you also have proficiency with what's it called? Perception now. And then the body is now fully grown, and when you look inside the pot, there is actually a brown-haired girl that is thick and stacked. No.
Thick and stacked. That's my bad beat. Okay. Is she alive?
So the body is in there, but like the spirit hasn't gotten out of Phil's body, if that makes sense. So she has a new body, but her spirit's in Phil.
Okay. So we take her body out and just like lay it down. And we'll just like wait a couple of days and see if her body goes into it or her spirit goes into it.
Are you using the book to get her body out?
No.
Because if you use like the spell that was cast on you, basically all of Phil's body is going to go into the ethereal plane. Let me find the other spell, make sure that your mom can cast it.
Because I thought you said that, like, because it's her body, it'll go straight to it.
Yeah, that's only if if her spirit is outside of her body, basically. But basically, her spirit is not like outside of a body, so it's not straight in her. If you pull her out of Phil, she'll go straight to it. Does that make sense? It's just a matter of getting her out.
Okay. So we'll use the book.
Okay. So if you flip open the book, her body will pop out. Or if you have Phil open the book, her spirit will pop out. But Phil's spirit also pops out. And because he like completely goes limp. And if you do it by the... Where are you doing this?
Just in a small room.
Okay. Did you bring the pot there?
We'll say we're at the mansion with the body.
Okay. So if you do it with the book at the mansion, you open the book and his body goes limp on there, and the other body in the pot pops up. She's like, "Ah!" And so now you have, what's her name? I'm thinking the wrong word. Felony. Felony is awake. And if you use your mom's spell, you can get, what's his name back into his body, Phil. And they're both alive. And, well,
Ayo.
boom, boom. So, yes, Felony is up now, and Phil is also up. They're in their own bodies. Only took 4 months.
That's it.
Yeah.
How much money did I make in 4 months?
Roll performance for me.
21.
21? Okay.
21.
So, I guess Phil was being super gracious, because we're going to say you made... gosh, that's a lot. I'm going to say 2 silver a day for 4 months. How much is that? Is that 240? 240 silver. Phil was really excited to have you working and knowing that you could get him his own body back. I'll say. He was extremely grateful.
Alright.
Cool.
Alright.
I'm going to say with... Well, no, that didn't happen. I'm going to say with the weird situation that was going on, Phil decided not to go into the basement until he had his own body. So he does want to go back down there to get things figured out, but he hasn't been down there in the 4 months. Especially considering that he basically was 2 people. And in that 4 months, he also gained a ton of weight because he ate a lot of pastries. So...
He was thick and stacked.
Yeah, he's thick and stacked now. But yeah, that's basically all I had planned, honestly.
Okay.
If we're, if you're good with that.
I'm good with that.
We already did some downtime, so we don't have to do that again. But, yeah. I think that was good. This is the intro to Queens. Boom, boom.
I liked it. Not bad.
Cool. All right. So yeah, I'll go ahead and end this. Thanks for watching. We do our videos we do our lives every Tuesday on TikTok at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And I repost all those videos on YouTube every Monday. Unless something weird happens like it did this Monday. But, all of the videos should be up by the time this one is up. So, obviously. That's funny. Okay. But yeah. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Peace out.